I hope you are doing well today. This is Raphael Garcia back for episode 28 of the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. Today is August 15th and the week is almost over, so I hope you not only had a good week, but also looking forward to an even better weekend. Be safe, don't drink it all away, and save your money. Don't spend it on stupid things, while I'll be doing the exact opposite. But anyway, thank you for once again taking the time to listen to some MMA ratings content. Please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can see or hear everything that we put together on this platform, as well as check us out on Instagram and Twitter at MMA Ratings Net, where we're always talking about sports from professional wrestling and mixed martial arts. You can catch me at rgarcia_sports, where I am doing my job, just kind of running around talking about various different topics in sports, such as Conor McGregor sucker punching an old man today. So we'll be talking about that on this evening show when I get with my partner Shawan. But that's another note for another day. But as always, thank you for taking the time to listen to everything that we do. Go over to MMAratings.net to use our star system to rate the fights. Let us know what you thought about the action that just passed, and also how excited you are for the action coming up this weekend and every weekend. We appreciate every single vote, every single like, every single click. We appreciate you guys doing that. So let's go ahead and jump into some of the topics we're going to talk about this week. The first one I definitely want to cover are the top 5 moments from what was a really big and important wrestling weekend. We had SummerSlam, we had NXT TakeOver, we had the G1 Climax closing out, and I just picked out 5 big moments I wanted to talk about because I'm sure by this point in time, everyone has really listened to recap shows and that they've gone over everything that I'm going to go over, but I really want to highlight these big 5 moments. And then I also want to talk about Raw and SmackDown from this past week. Also some stuff from NXT. We had some big returns in Sasha Banks coming back. We had Buddy Murphy and Cedric Alexander looking like stars out there. So let's kind of run over all that. And then I want to talk about King of the Ring because I'm looking forward to this tournament. They have a lot of opportunity there. So we're going to go ahead and kind of dive right into the conversation, starting with my top 5 moments from wrestling over the weekend. So of course, just like everyone else, the Fiend defeating Finn Balor is my big moment from SummerSlam because everything about this character was done correctly. Coming into the weekend, we were excited about what we were going to see. I don't, we didn't feel as much apprehension because I feel like they had done enough to keep this character enjoyable. We had the Bray Wyatt, Mr. Rogers type character. We've seen flashes of the Fiend. We've seen him attack various guys, various legends for the last few days. And I think now we're in a position to be excited about what's next to come. Everything about him was done correctly, from the music to the outfit to him carrying that head lantern down to the ring to the moveset that he used. The only thing I would have changed is that he would have taken less offense from Finn Balor. He took a little bit too much, in my opinion, but he gave out more than enough. From the neck snap, which I mean that was crazy. That neck snap was ridiculous. He got that off, and the room was basically silent because I don't think anyone really expected that, and that really kind of just caught everyone's attention right from the gate. He's using the mandible claw as his finish. He's not using Sister Abigail right now. So I think that everything about that was done correctly. I am not on the bandwagon of people who are upset that he wasn't on TV Monday or Tuesday. Me personally, I think that is okay. I do not want to see this character get overexposed in any way, shape, or form. In fact, I want to see the exact opposite. The next time we see Bray, I hope that we see him in the Mr. Rogers gimmick, and I want to see him wrestle and win in that outfit. I want to see him portray a whole different character. I want to see him win in a different way. I want to see him use a different move set. I just want to see this kind of come off totally different and original. I've written in the past about how they could use Finn Balor to be almost a throwback to like when Mankind was doing like the three faces of Foley. Was it 3 or 4? Whatever that number was. When he was doing all those different characters, they could do the same thing right now with either the Demon of Finn Balor, but especially with Bray Wyatt and the Fiend. I want to see something totally different from the Mr. Rogers version of him, and hopefully that's what we see next. But right now, I loved everything I saw about that, and I wouldn't change a thing about the way the Fiend is being portrayed because that was clearly the biggest moment from SummerSlam over the weekend and the biggest moment in professional wrestling, in my opinion. The second moment I want to talk about is Seth Rollins beating Brock Lesnar, and he beat Brock Lesnar clean. This is a testament to the narrative that I agree with, that if Brock Lesnar is put in a match that he cares about and that he gets excited about, he'll go out there and perform. And that's exactly what he did, because him and Seth Rollins put on a quick, short match that was still fantastic, and it was still good from start to finish. In my opinion, I love everything that they did with this match and how they got it over. I love the quick start. I love the finish with Seth Rollins winning clean. I think he needed that. I think that the Raw brand needed that because we know Lesnar not being on the show week in and week out hurts the value of all the storylines because they aren't really fighting for anything. But now you have Seth there, you have the title there that kind of elevates all the action from start to finish. And Rollins coming into SummerSlam wasn't looked at in the same fashion. He was cooling off. Even though we know he can put on some great matches, he just wasn't looking like the badass character that we all wanted to be. He didn't look like that guy who was a champion we all wanted to be. He was giving piss poor promos. His matches were still good, but as a character, he just looked so neutered. And this win really helped elevate that. It really helped kind of wash that off of him. So we're going back in a situation now where it looks like he's headed for some pretty intriguing storylines, and we're going to get into that in our next segment. But him pinning Brock Lesnar clean was something that I enjoyed, and I think that was the second biggest moment, in my opinion, in content over the weekend. The third thing I want to talk about, and this was a match that kind of caught me off guard, but I was still excited for it heading in. And it was Io Shirai and Candice LeRae. Now, this was on NXT TakeOver on Saturday. I believe it was the second match of the night, and it's one of the rare instances in which there's two women's matches on a WWE TakeOver or NXT TakeOver event. Usually, it's just one women's match, if any at all. There's been some where there haven't been any at all, but Io and Candice stole the show in many ways. You can make an argument that this was the best match of the whole weekend, and I wouldn't fight back against that. Io and Candice really put on they told a story with, I think they only had like 10 minutes, maybe if that much. They told what was a short story. I think they only had 2 weeks to really kind of build the story. But Io looks like a fantastic heel. Like I wouldn't change anything about her. Her moveset, her mannerisms, her facial expressions, everything about that looks fantastic. Then you have Candice LeRae, who is the fighting face in every shape or form, continuously fighting back, taking a lot of damage, fighting back, taking more damage, fighting back, and then getting put down by getting choked out and not even tapping. So they did everything about her perfectly. And I know people are going to say, "Oh, look, she's just like Johnny Gargano. She's just like her husband, not giving up and getting choked out." Which, she's her own character. I mean, she's her own person. She's her own wrestler. A lot of people, I remember when they both got signed to WWE, a lot of people were saying she was actually the better one of the two. And she has not been able to display that so far. Just because, not saying that she isn't, but she just hasn't been able to give that opportunity. But what she did with Io Shirai on Saturday was fantastic. I'm looking forward to what they do next. With Shayna keeping the title over Mia Yim, I don't know how they get that belt off of Shayna onto Io without it being like a three-way or something like that. And I would be okay with that. And then they could go back to Candice and versus Io in the future. I do think that they're going to put that belt on Candice for an extended period of time. I think that that's something that they look at as a future champion. It's unfortunate for characters like Bianca Belair, Mia Yim, and some others who may not get another opportunity at the belt at main event status within, or I guess women's main event status within NXT. But what Io and Candice did on Saturday was fantastic to me. I loved that match. I'm a big fan. I was already a fan of Io coming into the match, but now I'm a fan of Candice as well, and I really want to see what they do next. The fourth moment I wanted to talk about was Kota Ibushi winning the G1 Climax. Now, I will always admit to the fact that I am not the biggest follower of New Japan week in and week out. I have a subscription to their platform. I watch their content when it is available, when like time is available. But I definitely do keep up with everything that I see, and I've been keeping up with the G1 Climax, talking about it on this show week in and week out for the last few weeks. And from the very start, Kota Ibushi was my pick to win everything because I became a fan of Kota at the CWC. So when he was in the Cruiserweight Classic a couple weeks ago, a couple years ago, that's when I became a fan of him. That's when I recognized who he was. So again, I wasn't some long-term fan of his watching since day one or something like that. I was not. I recently found out who this guy was and I latched on to him because I love his style. He can do just about anything. So seeing him win on, was it Monday, I believe, early Monday morning, whatever the time was fantastic to me because now you know he's going to get an opportunity to challenge for the title. Now the question is, do they put the belt on him? I don't know. You know, he just had that win over Okada in the G1 Climax, so I'm not sure if they put the belt on him. They just signed him to a long-term deal, they being New Japan, in a time when so many others have been leaving the organization or going out and doing work with other promotions as well. So maybe they do reward him with a long-term deal, or excuse me, with a title run. I wouldn't be mad at it. I mean, that may get me to tune in more often. Kota can do everything. He can do everything that all the other guys at the top do. So I think he's someone that is worth watching. I was excited about him getting the win here. He's the guy I picked to win the entire thing, and I'm just pleased with everything. Those pictures that we saw of him holding the trophy and the confetti falling, fantastic. It was a great moment to me. Then the fourth moment, or fifth moment, excuse me, is Kenta, where we saw Kenta turn heel, join the Bullet Club, and Shibata, a man who had a life-threatening injury because of the headbutt he used to throw, runs down to the ring he gets physical. I mean, he beats the shit out of Kenta for a minute, hits a ridiculous delayed dropkick in the corner, and then he gets laid out. Takes a kendo stick to the back, and then he gets laid out by Kenta. And many people didn't think he could take any violence or he could take any bumps or anything like that. But I mean, he looked good. He took off his shirt. He looked like he's been working out. I'm not saying that Shibata's coming back. I'm not saying that he is cleared. According to Dave Meltzer, he wasn't. Or this was like a one-off type of deal here. But man, that's an exciting moment for New Japan because I don't think anyone knew it was coming. When if you look at the video of Kenta turning and you see Shibata come running down to the ring, people didn't even know how to respond at first. So he's definitely an icon over there. He is a legend within that organization, and I hope first and foremost, I hope he's healthy. But if he is going to make a return to action, that'll be something that gets me to stop and watch. So those are the five big moments from a pretty action-packed wrestling weekend. And I wanted to kind of continue that conversation and talk about some of the things that we've already seen from this week in wrestling. We had, I'm not going to go over Raw and SmackDown match by match. Again, I don't do that here. But Buddy Murphy and Cedric Alexander were elevated in fantastic ways on uh, Monday and Tuesday. First, you had Cedric Alexander and Drew McIntyre in what was a great match. Another unexpected match in which both guys looked good. You have Cedric Alexander giving out Spanish flies to big ass Drew McIntyre from the top rope like it's nothing. Then you have like there was enough give and take in that match that helped Cedric get that again helped elevate Cedric, and we're going to talk about how that serves him in a moment. This match could have been on SummerSlam and it would have fit in perfectly with the rest of the card. There would have been any complaints about that. That's how good these two guys did on Monday. Unfortunately, if you are a Hulu watcher, last I saw, they cut that match out of the hour and a half version of the show. You can go and see the highlights on the WWE YouTube channel, but they don't do it any justice. It's about 3 minutes worth of highlights there. Then you have what Buddy Murphy and Roman Reigns did on Tuesday. Now it really looks like they looked at each other, looked at the great match that Cedric and Drew had, looked at the response that they got for their action, and say, you know what, we're gonna go out there and top that. And that's exactly what they did. Roman gave Buddy everything. He gave Buddy a lot of offense. He took a lot of offense, and the goal of this match was to get Buddy over. He had not had a match since he was brought over to SmackDown. He was called the best kept secret, and everyone knew that to be true. And here it is for 13 minutes. I think about 15 minutes total TV time. These two guys went out there and they tore it the hell up. Everything about that match looked stiff. It looked fantastic, and the fans were behind it. There was no silence. There was no apathy or anything like that. And again, like I said, the goal of this match was to get to get Buddy Murphy over with the fan base, and that's exactly what happened. There were moments where it looked like they were going to give Buddy a win. Remember how Finn got over on Roman when in his first match on Raw. That got a lot of people excited and led to him being the Universal Champion for a day. But we knew Buddy wasn't going to get over in this match here. But goddamn, did he look good for every single moment, every bit of offense that he did have there. That was an exciting moment, and it's going to lead to something different for him and for Cedric Alexander. We're going to talk about that in a second. The moment that most people are talking about, the biggest moment for me was Sasha Banks' return. So we all have seen the video. Natalya's in the ring talking in Toronto about her match. Sasha Banks comes down and she basically hugs Natty. You know, she acts like she's proud of her. Looks like she's, here to cheer her on. And then she fucking decks her. Knocks her smooth out. Beats the hell out of her. Snatches off her purple wig. Her hair is blue now. I guess that signifies that she's a heel. I don't really care about that. But she goes to town on Natalya to the point that Becky comes out and tries to make the save. Then she beats Becky's ass too. And I'm okay with that. I'm glad that they did not make her look like a chicken shit or something like that, have her backing down from somebody right out the gate. But she beats the hell out of Becky. She cleans her clock with one of those chair shots. You can see it in the video. She accidentally hits her in the back of the head. But she cleans her clock with one of those chair shots. She just keeps beating her up. And what's her name? Becky Lynch has not been starched like that since this whole the man gimmick started. I mean, even Ronda didn't get to put hands on Becky like that in the lead up or any storylines or any angles or anything like that. So that was amazing to me. Sasha went out there and beat the brakes off of her, and that's exactly what we needed. We've needed a heel Sasha for so long. They've been teasing it, pulling it back, teasing it, pulling it back for so long. They're keeping her away from Bayley. I think they also need to keep her away from Alexa Bliss. That's something that a lot of people aren't talking about, and I'm actually doing some research into this as well. But keep her the hell away from Alexa Bliss as a heel character for now, because I don't want to see them team together, and I don't want to see them in any matches together because they always put Bliss over. So that's a conversation for another day. But for right now, I don't want to see that. But Sasha Banks' return was a huge moment this past week, and I see people. I mean, Jimmy Van on the whatever that show is that he does with Sean Ross Sapp was talking about how she was pouting and how he's lost respect for her. I've seen other people hating on her return already. I mean, to me, in my opinion, there's a little bit of unconscious bias there, because they don't talk about the way other people have left the WWE, the way other people have drawn the line in the sand and protected themselves. Neville was one of the first ones to do it, and look at the success that has brought him. So yeah, I don't even want to talk about that. But Sasha Banks' return, this has been what we've been needing. I hope they do not fuck this up. Put that belt on her. Let her have a strong run as champion. Everyone's been wanting that. We see how positively people responded to her on Monday. This is one of those softballs that you hope the WWE doesn't piss away, that you hope that they knock it out the park. But we've seen them fuck shit up before. We had Seth Rollins again versus AJ Styles, and that was, yet another match. We know that these two guys are going to go out there and they're going to put on a clinic every time they're in the ring. But obviously, DOC get involved. Ricochet tries to run down. He gets beat up. Then Braun runs down, cleans house. And I like what I saw there. I think that was more of an angle to get Braun into the title picture. Keeping him out of TV for the last few weeks, keeping him out of big angles for the last few weeks, I think it was important because people forget. You forget how over this guy was a year ago, how over he was, and how badly people wanted to see him become champion. If he actually, I think he put it on Instagram, where he shared the clip of him hitting the power slam on AJ Styles and the way the crowd reacted. The crowd is always going to be behind this man because he can just throw people around like he's throwing a softball. And that's going to get people excited. WWE has an opportunity here. Again, it's about them leveraging the opportunity and making the most of it. Braun Strowman he is a superstar. He's someone that they can build into a superstar. He's a great character. I love everything that they do with him. If they have him as the next challenger for Seth, I am concerned that he's going to go back to taking pins the same way he did with Brock Lesnar, because again, I don't think that they want to take that belt off of Seth for an extended period of time. Braun could easily run as the character there. I don't want to see him turn back to being a heel. They don't need to flip him anymore. Just let him be who he is and let him just fuck shit up. Let him tear things up, put holes in walls, use people to put holes in walls, etc., etc. I don't want to see anything different from him for an extended period of time. But when Raw closed out on Monday, we can see that he's being put back into the title picture. On NXT last night, Jordan Miles, also known as ACH, he won the NXT Breakout Tournament, which now means he gets the challenge for any title of his liking, of his choosing. I am not too familiar with ACH. But this breakout tournament run is going to make me go back and look and see what I can find about him. I mean, he's had a pretty extended run with ROH and other in New Japan. He was Tiger the Dark and other promotions. As you know, I am a big proponent of black wrestlers because we know that they don't get the same opportunities as their white counterparts. We know that for a fact. But so I'm looking forward to seeing what he does in this role and how he is elevated. I thought it was pretty awesome. So I wanted to take a moment to mention that because it was just pretty. It was cool to me to see him get that opportunity. He was definitely the best looking guy out of that entire group. So let's see what's next. I just wanted to give that some spotlight here. Then the last topic for today's show is we're going to talk about King of the Ring, which was a surprise announcement this week that they're bringing the tournament back. It starts next week and it will conclude at Clash of the Champions. Yeah, it starts on Raw on Monday. They have matches on Monday, the 19th or 20th. The quarterfinals have not been announced yet. Then the semifinals are on the 9th and the 10th of September. And then the finals are on the 15th, which is at Clash of the Champions. And King of the Ring is the tournament that helped elevate Brett and Owen. Brett was already elevated at the time, but it definitely helped elevate Owen. Guys such as I remember King Mabel. We all remember the Stone Cold Steve Austin victory that led to the Austin 316 statement. Who else has been King of the Ring? King Booker. I mean, that was a fantastic run. Billy Gunn, he won it, but he didn't really get too much shine off of that. Um, who else won? I don't want to sit here and look through a whole list of winners, but there's been a number of performers that have excelled after winning King of the Ring, and I think that this year, with this field, we're going to see some breakout stars here, and I'm going to run through the field in a second. So we have a mix. We have 16 men, 8 from SmackDown, 8 from Raw. We have Mustafa Ali, Andrade, Apollo Crews, Baron Corbin, Buddy Murphy, Cedric Alexander, Cesaro, Chad Gable, Drew McIntyre, Elias, The Miz, Kevin Owens, Ricochet, Sami Zayn, Samoa Joe, and Shelton Benjamin. So looking at those 16 men, we can already take out Apollo Crews, he ain't winning. Shelton Benjamin, he ain't winning. Chad Gable, I think he may win a match. He's not winning either. I don't think the Miz shouldn't win. Who else? Those are the individuals I can take out. So that's 4 people we've already taken out. I don't think Ricochet and Sami Zayn are really going to win that either. Sami hasn't won. I think he's won anything since his return. So that takes out 2 more people, brings us up to 6. So that we have 10 left that we think can actually win this. Buddy Murphy and Cedric Alexander, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do in this tournament, just because, as I was mentioning, they've been elevated so much over the last week. Cesaro, we know that he's going to go out there and put out some great matches. Chad Gable, I'm really interested in him because we've always known that Gable is someone that can go within the ring. We've wanted to see him on 205 Live for an extended period of time. We want to see him go back to NXT. He can be a hell of a challenger for the belt. Could you imagine him and Adam Cole working together? There's a lot of opportunity with this guy, but again, I don't think he's going to win it either. Ali could get this victory. He was getting that push until he had that concussion issue that led to the Kofi Kingston run. So we could see something out of Ali here. Andrade, he's been getting a rub. He's been putting Rey Mysterio down, putting him out the pasture, but I'm not sure if they're quite ready to put the rocket on him yet. Baron Corbin, I think Baron Corbin is the man to put your money on to get the win, because we know he's been off of television since Extreme Rules, as has Lacey Evans, and we know that WWE wants to elevate him and wants to have him as the main heel, even though people are giving him X-Pac heat. Baron Corbin can work in the ring. He is a good heel character. He just shouldn't be pushed the way he was pushed. Definitely turned some people off. I think this is an opportunity for them to push him, for WWE Creative to use Baron and remind us that he is important. He's definitely going to be in the finals. A lot of people are picking him to win, and I wouldn't be too mad about that. Buddy Murphy and Cedric, I think they're going to have great showings, but I don't think they're going to win either, whether it be through chicanery or other foolishness. Drew McIntyre, he may be another guy that can win as well. McIntyre should be, in my opinion, he should be the guy that is in a storyline with Seth. No Shane McMahon, no Elias, no other bullshit holding him back. Just this big 6 foot, I think like 6'5", 260. Should just be in a match. He should be in the main event picture. You have Elias. I think Elias is too much of a comedy act right now, so I don't see him winning that. The Miz, the Miz is kind of like a showcase guy now. You really forget that he is a great wrestler, or he is used as a wrestler, so I don't see him getting a win here either. You have Kevin Owens. I With the way that they're pushing Kevin, I think he finds a way into the finals, but I think he'll get screwed out of that. Especially with the way they're kind of pushing him as the current Stone Cold Steve Austin. I could see that. I could see that kind of continuing at a time into this position where we know that this is where Austin got made. We already talked about Ricochet and Sami Zayn. Samoa Joe, no, I mean he just doesn't win the big opportunities. I could see him maybe having 1 or 2 good matches. Maybe like he's the guy who puts out someone like a Cedric Alexander or something like that, or an Ali. But I don't think he gets that crown either. bringing back the tournament is a fantastic idea. I think it's something that they should do every year. We know that this time of year is huge for wrestling events like this because we have Bola is being announced. We had just had the G1 Climax close out. We have, and they did the NXT Breakout Tournament this year to try to give us something different. Tournaments work within WWE. It is an opportunity for fresh matchups, fresh storytelling, and I think we're going to get a lot of that with King of the Ring this year. I'm really intrigued and looking forward to this. I want to see them do a Queen of the Ring as well. I don't think it's something that they will do. They have the Mae Young Classic, which is in NXT, which is great for those group of women. But if they, let's say they took a year off, didn't do that, and did the Queen of the Ring, I think there's a lot of opportunity there too, as well. But we're probably a long way off from that. I can't wait till the brackets come out. I hope they don't do like everybody from one show versus everyone from that same show. I hope they mix it up, mix and match a little bit. They can make a Raw episode just out of the bracketing for King of the Ring and make that a big segment there. So I look forward to how they do that. Hopefully that's something that we get. But everyone is excited about the King of the Ring coming back. I'm excited about this, and I think it's a pretty big opportunity for the organization. I think it's a big opportunity for WWE to get somebody new over and get somebody new in front of the fans. So be, uh, get excited, everyone, because this is some good times within WWE and within professional wrestling as a whole. So with that in mind, we're going to go ahead and close out. Again, my name is Raphael Garcia. You can catch me at rgarcia_sports. Thank you again for listening to all of our MMA ratings content. Check us out here on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel to stay up to date on everything that we're doing. You can listen to us or you can interact with us on Instagram and Twitter as well. Go over to MMAratings.net, rate the fights using our star system. But always, man, thank you for your time. Thank you for your continued support. We're slowly growing, but that growth has been seen. Thank you, everyone, and have a great night.